You just finished the most stressful day of your life. Your boss screamed at you in front of everyone during the meeting. You have 3 deadlines tomorrow that you're nowhere close to finishing. Your bank account is dangerously low, and rent is due in 5 days. Your mind is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, and your body feels like it's been hit by a truck. You know you desperately need sleep because tomorrow is going to be even worse. But that knowledge only makes it harder. You lie down and your heart is still pounding. Your jaw is clenched so tight it hurts. Your shoulders are up near your ears, and you didn't even realize it. And then the cruel irony hits you. The more you need sleep, the harder it becomes to get it. It's like your body has declared war on itself. Stress keeps you awake, but being awake creates more stress, which keeps you more awake. It's a vicious cycle that's destroyed countless nights for millions of people. But what if I told you there's a pre-sleep ritual so powerful that it forces your body into sleep mode even when you're under extreme stress? A protocol developed for fighter pilots who need to sleep on demand before flying billion-dollar jets into combat zones where one mistake means death. These aren't people who have the luxury of waiting until they feel relaxed. They have to sleep whether their nervous system wants to or not because lives depend on it. Stay with me because what you're about to learn will give you the power to override your stress response and command your body to sleep no matter what happened during your day. Welcome to Mind Hacks Lab, where we decode neuroscience into action. And if you've ever laid awake stressed knowing you need sleep but unable to get it, smash that like button right now because this ritual will change everything. Here's what you need to understand about stress and sleep. Your body has 2 operating systems. The sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight mode, and the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest mode. These 2 systems cannot be fully active at the same time. It's biologically impossible. When your sympathetic system is firing, pumping adrenaline and cortisol through your veins, keeping your heart racing and your muscles tense, your parasympathetic system is shut down. And this is exactly the problem the military face with fighter pilots. These pilots who come back from intense training missions, or worse, real combat, with adrenaline levels through the roof. Their bodies were in maximum alert mode because they just spent hours making split-second life-or-death decisions at supersonic speeds. And then they'd land and military psychologists would tell them, okay, you need to sleep now because you're flying again in 6 hours. But their bodies were saying absolutely not. We're still in danger. We need to stay alert. So the military brought together sleep scientists, trauma psychologists, and performance coaches to create a mandatory pre-sleep ritual that would force the system to switch no matter how activated the pilot's stress response was. And what they discovered is that you can't just tell a stressed body to relax. You have to systematically dismantle the stress response piece by piece in a specific order. And this ritual has 5 phases that must be done in exact sequence. Phase 1 is a physical download. Your body is holding stress in the form of muscle tension and residual adrenaline. You need to physically release it before your mind can let go. Here's what you do. You stand next to the bed, and you do something that seems counterintuitive. You tense every muscle in your body as hard as you possibly can for 10 full seconds. Make fists, clench your jaw, squeeze your eyes shut, tighten your core, flex your legs, everything. Hold maximum tension for 10 seconds, and then release everything all at once and let your body go completely limp. And here's why this works. When you're stressed, your muscles are at about 60% tension all day without you realizing it. Your brain has lost the ability to tell the difference between tense and relax because everything's been tense for so long. By going 100% tension deliberately, you create contrast. And when you release, your body finally remembers what 0% tension feels like. You do this 3 times. 10 seconds maximum tension, then complete release. Phase 2 is thermoregulation. Stress bodies run hot. Your core temperature is elevated from the stress response, and sleep only comes when your body temperature drops. So you need to force a temperature drop. Here's the protocol. You take a hot shower, as hot as you can comfortably handle, for exactly 7 minutes. This seems backwards, but trust the process. The hot water makes your core temperature rise even more. Your body responds by opening up all your blood vessels to try to cool you down. And then you step out of the shower and the cooler air hits your skin. Phase 3 is the mental dump. Your mind is racing because your brain is trying to solve problems, and it won't let you sleep until it feels like those problems are handled. So you trick it. You sit down with a notebook, and you do a complete brain dump. You write down every single thing you're worried about, everything you need to do tomorrow, everything you're angry about, everything you're scared of. You don't organize it. You don't try to solve anything. You just dump it all onto paper in a stream of consciousness for exactly 5 minutes. Military psychologists found that pilots who skipped this step took 40% longer to fall asleep than pilots who did a 5-minute dump. Your brain needs permission to stop processing, and the written list gives it that permission. Phase 4 is a sensory shutdown sequence. You release a physical tension. You've dropped your core temperature. You've dumped a mental load. Now you need to cut off all the sensory inputs that keep your nervous system activated. You go to your bedroom, and you make it a sensory deprivation chamber. Temperature between 62 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Complete darkness, not even a digital clock glow. If you can't get it fully dark, use a sleep mask, white noise machine, or earplugs to block sound. And here's the critical part that most people miss. You remove all blue light exposure 60 minutes before this ritual starts. That means no phone, no laptop, no TV for a full hour before bed. Blue light suppresses melatonin and keeps your brain in daytime mode. Pilots are not allowed screens for 90 minutes before sleep during high-stress training periods. Your bedroom becomes a cave. Cool, dark, quiet. This environmental shift sends a massive signal to your nervous system that the active day is over. Phase 5 is a body-skin shutdown. You're in bed now in your sensory deprivation environment. Your body is physically released, temperature dropped, mind dumped, environment controlled. Now you do the final override. You do a military-style body scan, but with a specific focus on the stress hotspots. You start with your jaw because that's where most people hold stress without knowing it. You consciously relax your jaw, let it hang slightly open. Feel your tongue rest heavy in your mouth. Then your shoulders. Most stressed people have their shoulders slightly raised in a defensive posture all day. You consciously drop them. Feel them sink into the mattress. Then your hands. Stressed people make slight fists even when sleeping. You open your palms. Spread your fingers. Then let them naturally curl in a relaxed position. Then your stomach. Stressed people keep their core tight. You let your belly completely soften and rise and fall with your breath. And finally, your feet. You point your toes down toward the end of the bed, then let them fall naturally to the sides. The whole body scan takes 90 seconds, and you're focusing specifically on the areas where stress hides. By the time you finish, if you've done the previous 4 phases correctly, you'll feel your body starting to sink into the mattress. You'll feel heavy. That heaviness is the parasympathetic nervous system taking over. That's the switch happening. Now I need to be completely honest with you. The first time you try this 5-phase ritual, it might take you 45 minutes to complete all the steps, and you might not fall asleep immediately after. That's normal. Fighter pilots train this ritual for 2 weeks before it becomes automatic. But here's what happens with practice. By week 2, the ritual itself becomes a conditioned sleep trigger. Your body starts to associate the sequence with sleep so strongly that you begin getting drowsy during phase 3 or 4. By week 3, most people report falling asleep within 10 minutes of completing phase 5. The military tracked this with heart rate variability monitors and found that the ritual creates a measurable physiological shift within the first 30 seconds of starting phase 1. Your body knows what's coming and begins preparing for sleep the moment you start the tension release. Let me give you the complete 5-phase ritual in summary. Phase 1, physical download. 3 rounds of 10-second maximum tension, followed by complete release. Phase 2, thermoregulation. 7-minute hot shower, followed by cool air exposure to crash your core temperature. Phase 3, mental dump. 5 minutes of stream of consciousness, writing to externalize all worries and tasks. Phase 4, sensory shutdown. Create a dark, cool, quiet cave, removing all screens 60 minutes before. Phase 5, body scan. 90-second scan of stress hotspots, jaw, shoulders, hands, stomach, feet. Now I want to hear from you. Which phase of this ritual do you think will be hardest for you to implement? Is it giving up screens an hour before bed? Or is it taking the time for the mental dump? Or is it something else? Drop a comment below because your biggest obstacle is probably shared by thousands of others, and I can create content specifically addressing those barriers. And if this 5-phase military ritual gave you a systematic way to force sleep even under extreme stress, smash that like button because it tells YouTube this content needs to reach more people who are suffering through sleepless nights. Subscribe to Mind Hacks Lab because every week I break down another neuroscience protocol used by elite performers and turn it into something you can use tonight. These aren't theories, these are field-tested methods at work. Now here's the thing. This ritual forces you to sleep even when stressed. But what if you wake up at 3 a.m. and your mind starts racing again? That's the other half of the equation. In the next video, I'm going to show you the middle-of-the-night reset protocol that special forces use when they wake up in hostile territory and need to fall back asleep in under 5 minutes because their survival depends on being rested. It's the perfect complement to what you just learned and will give you complete control over your sleep, not just at bedtime, but throughout the entire night.